Good morning, dear students. Welcome back to my today's English video class. Students, today I am going to take the 6th chapter, My Childhood, of your class 9th English textbook Beehive, which has been written by APJ Abdul Kalam. I need not to say who was APJ Abdul Kalam. You all know the name and fame of this wonderful personality who has been the greatest scientist of India as well as the 14th president of India. So let's see and go through the introduction part of this chapter. What does this My Childhood title tells us about? My Childhood is an extract taken from the autobiographical book Wings of Fire by APJ Abdul Kalam. If you have read this book, I am sure you would have found it very influential and inspiring for you all, and if you have not, I would recommend you to please go through this book, read it out, and I am sure it's going to be so much inspiring for you all. Here Dr. Kalam, who was one of the greatest scientists of India and also the 14th president of India, gives an account of his childhood. Okay, he talks about his upbringing, his parents and his siblings. He tells us about his friends and all those things that influenced his childhood. वे सभी बातें जिसने उनके बचपन को प्रभावित किया, that all have been expressed in this extract of Wings of Fire titled My Childhood. Before going through the summary part, let's see some of the selected keywords of this chapter. The first word is innate, which means inborn. Inborn means janmjat. Then the next word is austere, which means simple, strict and severe. The next word is Anna. Anna, actually it was an old Indian coin. Okay, an old Indian coin was called Anna. Then Dinamani, a name of Tamil daily newspaper. Then casualty. Casualty means loss. Suspension means end. Halt means stop. Orthodox means strict and conservative. Okay, if someone who is very much strict in following the religion, that is what we can say orthodox. Could not stomach, here this phrase is used in this chapter, so which means could not tolerate. Okay, could not stomach means could not tolerate. Downcast, which means sad or depressed. Then mingle, which means interact with each other. Okay, milna julna. The next word is perturbed, which means upset. So these were some of the selected keywords. Now let's go through the key points of this chapter. APJ Kalam, the full name of his was Abdul Pakir Zainulabdin Kalam, was born in a middle-class Muslim family in 1931 in the island town of Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu. In his childhood, he was greatly influenced by his parents, by his teachers and his friends as well. His father Zainulabdin was not highly educated, but he was a generous and kind person. He was not rich but provided a secure childhood to Abdul and his siblings. Abdul inherited honesty and self-discipline from his father and faith in goodness and deep kindness from his mother. Kalam earned his first wages while working as a helping hand to his cousin Samsuddin. His cousin Samsuddin, who used to distribute newspapers in Rameshwaram, so with him he worked in distributing newspapers in Rameshwaram, and therefrom he got his first wages. In his childhood, he had three close friends, Ramanand Sastri, Arvindam and Shiv Prakashan. Once, when he was in 5th standard, a new teacher asked him not to sit in the front row, along with the high caste Brahmin boys. After this, what Abdul found? He found Ramanand Sastri weeping as he went to the last row. This made a lasting impression on Abdul Kalam. Abdul was also greatly influenced by his science teacher Siva Subramanya Iyer. He learnt the lesson of breaking social barriers from him. When once Mr. Iyer invited him to his home for a meal, his wife refused to serve food to a Muslim boy in her pure kitchen. Then Iyer served him with his own hands and sat down beside him to eat his meal. He convinced his wife to serve a meal with her own hands and thus was successful in changing her conservative mood. So this was also a great lesson for Abdul Kalam. For higher education, Abdul Kalam sought permission from his father to leave Rameshwaram and study at district headquarters in Rameshwaram. His father said that Abdul had to go a long way in life, just like a seagull bird which flies long distances. What does this mean? It was actually the time when Abdul had to leave his parents for his further study, At that time, he has been guided by his parents and especially by his father. What he said, that he had to go a long way in life, just like a seagull, and which flies long distances. Okay, it was the time when Abdul had to leave his parents, and that time his father said this all to him. He calmed down Kalam's reluctant mother. Reluctant means unwilling, as Kalam's mother was not ready to leave him. So at that moment, Kalam's father also convinced his mother by quoting Khalil Gibran's poem, Your Children. What he said through this? He said that his children could not be dominated by her because they had their own thoughts. They did not belong to her but were a result of life's desire for itself. He said, they come through you but not from you. You may give them your love but not your thoughts, so give them freedom to fulfill their thoughts. So in this way, by these lines, Kalam's father convinced Kalam's mother to leave him so that she could be ready to leave Kalam for his further study. So students, if I ask you through all these lines, through all these points, how can we conclude this chapter? If you read this chapter minutely, you will find that this chapter talks about the early days of Kalam. This chapter also gives us an idea that how the childhood of Abdul Kalam prepared him to be a successful scientist and the president in the future. He also mentions the important role of his friends in his life. So in short, one can say that Kalam has mentioned everything that had an impact on his life. So hope you would have understood this extract of his autobiography, Wings of Fire. But for more details, I would suggest you to please go through this and read it out completely. Read it thoroughly. So thank you so much for being with me. That's it for now. Take care and good day.